Hi everyone. Welcome to week 4, part 2, English 1302. I want to spend a few minutes and talk to you about just some general subject stuff, including your first research paper, the R1 research paper. First of all, on the discussion posts, sometimes I will ask you to reference the play that we're reading, Macbeth. For the discussion posts, those are supposed to be short and simple. You really don't have to quote or provide in-text citations. Now, later in the semester you will. That'll change after this first assignment. But for right now, just use general information that you learned from reading the play. Don't bother with quotes or citations. But it is very, very helpful if you will make sure that your first sentence of your discussion posts clearly answers the discussion question, and then everything that comes after that just supports or explains your first sentence. That will help me to get the idea you're trying to put across. Also, it'll help you because when you write your research papers, that's the same structure we use for the body paragraphs. So it's good practice. For example, if you wanted to say that King Duncan was too generous, then you might explain how he your first sentence of your discussion post, we're still on discussions right now. Your discussion post, the first sentence will be, King Duncan was just too flat out generous. And then you give me an example of that and explain how that's a bad thing. Okay, and don't forget 200 words or longer. Let's talk now about the R1, the first research paper, and what is due this Sunday. The only thing that's due this Sunday is the outline. We're still reading the play. We're about 2/3 of the way through with the play. And hopefully by now you've selected one of the 5 characters, King Duncan, Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, Banquo, or the witches. You should have selected one of those 5 already, and then chosen one of those 2 characteristics about your character. If you're talking about Macbeth, you could either write about how he is easily influenced by others, the witches, his wife, or how he is too brutal. Don't try to do both. Just pick one or the other. Then as you read through the play, find those quotes, hopefully short, 1 or 2 sentences, that have something to do with that. And those quotes can either be something the character himself says. You could quote Macbeth if he ever says, I am too easily influenced by others. That'd be perfect. Or you can quote something that someone says about him. Now, and that's really all that you need, because when you turn in to me on or before Sunday, September 21st at 11:55 p.m., what you turn in to me is going to look very, very similar to that. Can you see that? Yeah. That's just the R1 outline, because that's all I'm looking for. It's only worth 30 points, but it does need to be formatted with the heading and the title and the thesis, and then the 3 quotes, each followed by an in-text citation. Yeah. And the in-text citation, of course, just has the author's last name, but since this is a play, then that is followed by the act number, the scene number, and the line number. Now, there's a real tendency to want to put Macbeth in there, but since Macbeth is the only play we're dealing with this semester, then you don't have to. When we get to the works cited page, this will make more sense, I promise. So anyway, when you turn into me, you're going to turn in just one sheet of paper. It's going to look like this. Someone asked, I found a lot more than 3 quotes that deal with my topic. Can I list more than 3 quotes on my outline? Well, you can, but I don't recommend it. If you had 4 or 5 quotes, that would give you a really long paper, and you could go over the word count maximum, which I think is just 1,000 words. Yeah, 700 to 1,000 words, and so you don't want to top off that maximum. So yeah, I would stick to just 3 quotes. Okay. All right, so but be sure each quote supports the thesis, which comes from the characteristics which are part of the character topic. Really, all I'm grading you on, well, mostly what I'm grading you on, is the format, Does it look like it's supposed to look? Have you chosen one of the topics? Have you found 3 quotes that say something about the characteristic, about the character? Okay, so it's really not extremely hard. After this week, or starting next week, once you turn in, I'll get those graded back to you as quickly as possible. But then you start building the body paragraphs around those quotes. The quotes can be embedded in the middle of the body paragraph for the final draft, and then we'll talk more about the works cited page, which I'm just going to give you. There's also some helpful hints on page 2 of the assignment sheet. I hope you'll do well, and of course, if you have any questions, let me know. Now, I do try to answer all of your email questions within about 24 hours, but I get a little bit busy on the weekends. I get kind of out of pocket, so I may not get back to you right away. The point is, if you wait till Sunday afternoon to start working on this, and then you email me, I probably won't even see your email until Monday morning, which is after the due date. And of course, as you know, late work is not accepted, so be sure you get it turned in before the due date. And even if it's not your best work, even if it's just half done or kind of slapped together at the last second, turn something in. If you don't turn anything in, I can't give you anything other than a 0. If you turn something in, I can at least give you some points, half points or whatever. But yeah, be sure to turn something in and review the assignment sheet. I try to spell everything out so that it's very clear here. And if you have any questions other than that, be sure to let me know. A student in my class asked about the video. I think we've addressed this before, but let me just be clear. Yes, watching the video is very helpful after you've read the play. Go ahead and read the play, or maybe not the whole thing, read just Act 1 or Act 2. Then go to YouTube, do a search for Macbeth Act 2, and watch just that act. Why is that so helpful? When we remember that Shakespeare wrote these plays not to be read or studied or dissected or deconstructed, he wrote them to be acted out on the stage. In fact, Shakespeare threw away most of his copies of the plays. He never intended for them to be published after his death. He thought they were just very much of the moment, just temporary. And so he would be surprised to learn that we study his plays. So yeah, if you get a chance, watch the play after you've read it. Read it first and then watch it. It'll make more sense to you. The action will make more sense. It'll be easier to follow the ideas and the characters. But remember, when you watch a video of a play, you're getting one person's interpretation of that material. What you see on the video, what you see on screen, is just what the director thinks the play should look like. Your imagination is much more creative and original, so rely on that more. All right. If you have questions, let me know, and I'll probably be posting up again tomorrow. I'll talk to you then.